We're going to move forward with our meeting. Grant Clowers, thank you so much for being with us again. It's great to see you, and I'll just let you take it away.
Okay, so the basic idea that that I kind of shared last week is that, and really I thought very powerful stuff that Tammy talked about, that it may be that a large portion of the job losses and cutbacks that people have experienced so far, that they may not be coming back, that those jobs may be permanently ended. And so we talked just a little bit about the idea that work is actually one of our sources of identity, and the loss of identity is actually one of life's greatest stressors. And that what happens when people get into a stress state is that their parts of their brain kind of start to shut down, and they just don't think very clearly. They start to think more about difficulties, and they have a more difficult time focusing on possibilities and opportunities. And so the idea is, given that our brain kind of normally does that, as the slide here shows, that there are ways that we can try to help to work with that, that will keep that from kind of spiraling down into what is unfortunately a normal state of kind of a lack of possibilities. Okay, so next. So we do work as one of our main sources of identity, along with family, spirituality, friends, and then other values. And very often, not only are people losing work, but also their family is going through a stressful time too. So life just kind of seems like it's just like this total stress show. Okay, so next. We get really focused on negative stuff and lose positives and possibilities. So I'm going to kind of skip the slides now and just kind of say a few things to kind of wrap this up actually fairly quickly. But this is the key stuff that I want to get across, and that is that you all, by history, have had, well, you've been a gift to the culture. You have so much to offer, and obviously, by history, the main thing that you've had to offer is information and getting information into the hands of people, so offering guidance. And I guess the main thing that I want to get across now is that there's actually another thing that you have to offer on top of that. And that is the understanding that if someone has lost their job and they're looking for guidance on maybe how to find a new job or how to get into some kind of new training, is actually to see the person there that's right there in front of you, that they're not just needing information, but that they're actually needing care. I remember years ago, I did a wonderful training, and the therapist that did the training said something that really stuck with me and really made an impact on me. And what she said was that the two most fundamental human emotions, and these are the emotions that all the other emotions kind of arise out of, but the two most fundamental human emotions are fear and love. And very often, when they've just had this kind of catastrophic experience and they're coming to you for information, they are in a state of fear. And so the idea is that the antidote to fear is a kind of love. It's responding to people with kind of like a sense of care. And so one of the ways that I guess really one of the basic things that I want to leave you with is the idea that when someone has just gone through a catastrophic loss, like losing work, that what they are really, really needing is information and support, but they're all needing a sense of care. And that if you can not only give them information, but give them information in a way that also, just with tone of voice, expresses a sense of care that you're giving them more than just information. You're also giving them a sense of like emotional support that could actually go a long ways to being helpful for them. I remember years ago, I was supervising a social work intern, and he was a really, really smart guy. He had lots of amazing and helpful information to offer people. And I remember one time I was observing him doing what we call a psychosocial assessment, where you're getting information from the person to kind of figure out what's going on. And I remember afterward, I told him, I said, you know, you're getting a lot of good information, but you kind of sound like a census taker in how you're getting the information. I said, you don't really sound like you're connecting with them. And I know that may be something that, you know, maybe, you know, traditionally hasn't been a part of your job description. And obviously, I'm not saying that you are there as a therapist, but you may be one of the few people in their life who's kind of thinking clearly and can offer them not only information, but can also offer them like some support and kind of a feeling of care. So I guess that really is the bottom line of kind of what I want to leave with you today, that you actually have something for these folks that are coming in, and maybe what has turned out to be a catastrophic situation. But what you have to offer them is information, but also a kind of softness and kind of like a way of being present with them that's expressing care. The way that you do that is actually pretty simple, and it's like just saying things like, I'm sorry that this has happened to you. This is a really difficult time, but there are resources that I would be really happy to help you with that I do hope will be helpful. Okay, so this is actually really simple, but just because something's simple doesn't mean it's not pretty profound. And so I think that you guys actually do have something pretty profound to offer people: information and guidance, but also in this time, really difficult time, you can also offer kind of like a sense of support and care. Okay, so I had 10 minutes, and I think I used up my 10 minutes. So also be glad to respond to any questions or comments that you might have.
Does anybody have any questions that I'll let you kind of process and think for a minute? One of the things that occurs to me from what you said, Grant, is how well that dovetails on what we learned in July about customer service and kind of the elements of really being able to, provide world-class service in kind of any situation. And it's just interesting to me to see how that crosswalks into what you just said, that is kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah, even when you think about traditional customer service,
Yeah.
somebody, it's like if it's a retail situation, if somebody walks up and says, hey, I'm wanting such and such an item, I mean, one way of doing that is to say, oh, it's over there.
Right.
another way to do it, which is actually better customer service, is, oh, it's over there, let me take you.
Right.
And so this is sort of like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you could say, oh, you lost your job, here's the database over there.
Right.
Or you could say, here's the database. This isn't always terribly intuitive. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll really be glad to help.
Yeah. Any other thoughts or questions for Grant, guys?
Hey, Tammy, this is, of course, and I think this is a great conversation, and that we're going to have a lot of people dealing with things that they've never ever dealt with, and I think it's also important to realize for us, especially in leadership positions, that our staff are in that same boat too. They're scared. They may have a spouse that lost their job. And so and really, I guess my question would be on your thoughts of what's really a good way to kind of bridge that topic to let people know it's like, yes, we realize that you have these personal fears. We realize that, staff, you're carrying a lot of these burdens as well. But yet when we are here and we are helping the public, that we can't let those personal problems and fears not allow us to fully help our public that's coming in with what our charge is to help them find better information as well.
Yeah, I just heard an amazing kind of statistic that a year ago, about 1 in 10 people in the United States would meet the criteria for a diagnosable anxiety disorder. Now it's about 1 in 3. So this is a huge cultural shift that's taken place. And so it's just, and even for those of us who the